y'all, it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 22 of Scrap-O-Ween. It is Trick or Treat Tuesday, and the technique we're using today has something to do with tissue paper. So I've got some tissue paper out, I have some paper out, and the photos that I will be scrapping today are the ones of my beautiful Pumpkin King arrangement. I love this thing so much. You turn it on and he glows, and it has some sayings and stuff with it. So let's get started. For my background, I'm using a piece of 12 by 12 white watercolor paper. And here I am just trying to tear off some strips of the tissue paper. And what I have realized is that there is a particular way to tear tissue paper if you want nice long strips. Now see, just like that, how it's just kind of all ripping down. Apparently tissue paper has like a grain. So if you tear it the wrong way, like right here, you get these little jaggy pieces that are hard. But if you tear it the other way, you get the nice long strips. So if you're having difficulty tearing your tissue paper, just turn it and see if you're tearing against the grain or with the grain. Now here I have really sped this up because I'm just kind of trying out where I think I want to put the pieces. And I am tearing some of them in smaller chunks, and I'm thinking, okay, do I want to have some white peeking out? Do I want to have the whole thing covered up? And kind of what I decide is that I want most of the white to be covered up. But I go ahead and put the paper in this little box here because I am completely saturating everything. I am putting water everywhere. And here I'm just making sure that I'm covering up the white bits, and with some of the pieces of the tissue paper, I'm kind of crinkling it up and making sure it's got some texture to it. And I am wetting it down as I go so that it sticks nicely to the paper. And here I've just about got everything covered up. But I have really got this wet. I mean, it's dripping. So I actually had to set it aside for it to dry overnight. So this is the next day. And ta-da! It did not turn out like I thought it would. Now, I knew it was going to be more of a watercolor type effect, but I did not expect the black to turn like a brown color. And the orange is more on the yellow side. And the purple is like a light purple, which I was kind of surprised at, because when I was looking at that purple, I'm like, this really looks more like a blue. But it did end up being this really light purple. Am I disappointed? A little, but I did know it was going to be very pale, but you know, it's okay. I did not expect the black to turn brown. That was very unexpected, but that's okay. Would I try this technique again? Yeah, I did. I definitely would. It was a lot of fun. But here you can see that I have trimmed just a little bit off of two sides, and I am backing it on some black cardstock. And here are two haunted houses that I die cut. And if you're interested, I have some footage of me stamping this one and also doing the little pieces, putting the little pieces on that Tim Holtz. What is it? It's a Thinlits. What is it called? Hang on, let me see. Do I have it just right here? Yeah, it's a Thinlits. And it's got a ton of teeny tiny pieces. So if that would be something you'd be interested in, let me know and I can put up a separate video of me putting those together. But here I'm just going to back my 2 photos with some black cardstock. And I have that little honeybee paper pad out that has some fall and some Halloween papers. And I was thinking about doing like a photo mat, a stacked photo mat underneath the pictures, but I'm like, I went through all of this effort. I don't want to cover up a whole bunch of my background. I want to really be able to see it. So instead of doing a stacked photo mat, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So here I am going through and just kind of picking out some papers to play off of my photos and the colors of my background. So I've got kind of that brownie orange there with the pumpkins on it, which of course we gotta have the jack-o'-lanterns since my photo is about a jack-o'-lantern. And then I've got that plaid there and this purple. And I am looking at both sides of the papers, so I will have different prints and textures. I love that little plaid. It's so pretty. And then I got the little orange with the polka dots. And I just cut off some strips. And I'm just going to kind of stack them up in kind of a, I guess, a wonky fashion there. And I'm just making a place to rest my haunted house. And I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to use. And I think, yeah, I go ahead and glue down my strips here. And I don't want them to be perfectly straight. I want them to be all kind of crooked and everything. And that way you can see more of the patterns and the colors. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, I moved that one. I tried to hold it with my finger, but it moved instead. So here I've got a nice landing spot for my photos to sit on, kind of like a shelf. And then I also have a nice background for my haunted house. And instead of having the pictures being nice and straight on, I'm putting them together at a little bit of an angle as well. And pretty much the only thing that's going to be straight up and down, I think, is the house. It came apart. So there I have those set down, and I am going to use the Tim Holtz Thinlits Sizzix die haunted house. And since it's got like these little pieces here, the real delicate pieces, I'm going to use some wet glue as well, just to keep those down when I go to slide it into the page protectors. I don't want to accidentally like tear off the little pole of the porch. And I am overlapping the roof on one of my photos. And that's kind of what I was looking at when I was trying out the 2 different haunted houses. That other haunted house is a die from Heidi Swapp. And I used a stamp set that she came out with to put all of the details on it. And then here I'm just going to glue down these little rickety stairs. I think this is so cute. And for this, I just used some black cardstock and then a darker brown cardstock to cut out the little detail pieces. And I think this is adorable. If you look in that bottom right-hand window, you can see a little black cat. This is so cute. So for my title, I have a nice big title to go on the right-hand side, and it says, "Hooray for the Pumpkin King." And I am like in a hooray mood because I love it so much. But I'm not exactly sure where I want to put my title. So I started up there at the top with it, but excuse me. I didn't like how that was looking, and plus there wasn't room for pumpkin because the alphabet was way too big for the space. So I ended up putting the pumpkin down there, kind of tucked up under the photo, and I liked how that was. So I went ahead and moved Hooray for and Thee down with it. Now, these little bats and that crescent moon actually is with the Heidi Swap haunted house die. They come with it. So when I cut out that haunted house, it cut out the 2 or the 3 little bats and the crescent moon, and I'm like, ooh, I can use those too, because they were just kind of sitting off to the side. And now I'm going through my 12 by 12 sticker sheets to see if there's anything that I can add to. And I found that tree sticker, which I'm like, ooh, that's perfect. Got to have a tree there with the haunted house. And then this little truck here with the spider webs in the window and the jack-o'-lanterns in the back. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And then I put another little jack-o'-lantern there to the side because the little haunted house has to have jack-o'-lantern by the door. And then also I found some more bats on this sticker sheet, and I pretty much, I think, use just that sticker sheet. Well, no, that's not true. I do find a few things on this Doodlebug one. So I find these little word stickers here that says haunted and pumpkin, and I'm trying to figure out where do I want to put these. And I decide to put them here in the center because I feel like my embellishment is kind of in a column. And I pull out this little tab that says Halloween, and I thought about putting it there on the left, but I really wanted to kind of keep everything more towards the center, if that makes sense. I know things are spread out across the page, but for some reason that the bulk of like that visual heaviness there is there in the middle where the photos are, and up underneath them where the haunted house is. So I kind of wanted to keep that all together. And then I went ahead and glued down the bats and the moon, and I'm going to finish it up with some of my beloved Distress mica stains, and I'm going to use the 3 colors that I used to make my background. So I used the jack-o'-lantern, I used the Hocus Pocus purple, and then of course the flickering candle gold color, which is it's quite a bit more yellow than the Pumpkin King letters, but that's not bothering me. And that is gonna do it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you could give this technique a try. I think it's really fun and gives some unexpected results. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.